Hi everyone, today I want to show you my beautiful orchids. I bought these orchids when we were on vacation in Florida. As you see on the table, I have different kind of orchids. I am very happy that I bought them. And we went with my husband to different nursery houses, and in that houses you can see gorgeous orchids, and you want to buy all of them, but the place in the car was limited. I found from trash 3 boxes of orchids. I showed you all, and thank you for your comments. You were happy with me, you shared my happiness. Thank you all. And these orchids I bought from other nursery house after 2 days when I found that orchids from trash. I found that orchids from trash, and next day we went to different nursery houses, and in other different nursery house I saw these orchids and I decided to buy them. In that orchid nursery house, they don't sell for public. They sell only for it was only for wholesale, and I wasn't able to buy any orchid from there. They had gorgeous, beautiful orchids, but I was not able to buy from them any. Instead, I got from them for free from trash, and they are so beautiful orchids. And now I am taking care of them. And these orchids I bought from other nursery house. Why I am showing you these orchids? Because I want you also to know where you can get orchids for cheap price. Most of you anyway go to Florida for vacation and for business, and you can buy from Florida. If you go there, you can buy from there orchids, any orchids for $4. And that's why I'm making this video, to share with you my orchids. This is my Oncidium orchid. It bloomed in my house. I didn't know even which color this Oncidium orchid will bloom for me, and now it's in full bloom. As you see, it's in full bloom. And that time when I bought this orchid, it has small tiny buds like this ones. These buds were blasted, and from that this, when they're in this size, you cannot know what color they will bloom. When the buds started getting bigger, I thought that something going on, something wrong is going on with this orchid, because I didn't know that this orchid will bloom yellow. I thought that buds are turning yellow, and what I was doing wrong, I couldn't find out. Then after 2 days, when buds became bigger, larger size, they started blooming. Then I saw that this Oncidium is yellow color, and it has very sweet fragrance. If you want to buy something with fragrance that smells for you, you can buy this Oncidium. And you know what I want to tell you, this Oncidium I used to have for many years in my bathroom. I didn't know that time even anything about orchids, but this flower I bought for to put in my bathroom. Somehow I used to love orchids, but I didn't know anything about orchids before. And you see what happened? These are same orchids. See, I have this is not real, and this is real. See how they are matching, same orchids, and now I have a real one, and I'm very happy for that. I love this Oncidium orchid, and it's very sweet. It makes me happy every day when I look at this orchid. And also it started growing new babies for me in my house in this short period. 3 weeks ago we bought this orchid, and see, it's growing new babies. This is new. It started growing in my house, and this orchid, I see it loves water, and I water it often. I think every 4-5 days I water this orchid. And here my false. You see how beautiful color. I love this color. Camera is not giving the real true color. It's a little bit different, but anyway, this is beautiful Phalaenopsis orchid, and I will show you it. It's now in full bloom. See, beautiful flowers. It had buds, and my baby, he broke the bud which was here. And anyway, here I have other different color. You see, this is beautiful. And look at this pot, how they are matching with this pot. Same color. And if you look from the far, you see they're so matching with this pot. And this pot, I was so lucky. I went to Goodwill to buy some decorative pots, and I found from Goodwill this pot. It was $2. When I came to pay for this, that day was green on sale, and I bought this pot for 50 cents. I was lucky, and that's I want to tell you too. And this orchid, you see how many flowers it has. It has clusters of flowers. This is beautiful color. I love it. And here, this is my pretty princess sitting here. It has huge flowers and beautiful. And here I have Dendrobium Orchid. Look at this huge girl. This is giant. And I will show you its roots. It has lots of roots with growing tips. You see? When I brought it home, it was okay in Florida, because we bought these orchids from Florida, and when we brought it home, the tips of roots started dying. They turned brown. Now I see that they started growing tips again. You see here, they are turning green again, and they are going on growing. Here some tips, they turn brown, and I thought that these orchids from the change of, I think, climate, that they are behaving like that, and now they are doing great. You see, they're in it. This orchid is also in full bloom, and this orchid, it has fragrance. It smells like gardenia. If you ever smell gardenia, you know it exactly smells like gardenia, but it's a little bit not strong. Gardenia is very strong, but this has light smell. And this from this cane, it started growing something here. I think that this is flower spike or something, or baby, I don't know. I am new with dendrobiums, that's why I have to learn them. Now I'm learning them, but I see they're easy to grow. And here I have different color of dendrobium. You see this flowers, they are beautiful. these flowers are more darker than in camera. And do you see this tongue? It has some white and it's pretty. I love it, but it doesn't have any fragrance. I will show you here from the side. If you see, it's so beautiful, it's attractive. And I didn't know which colors I was buying, because most of them, they were in buds, they didn't bloom yet, and they bloomed in my house. And see, I bought two same colors from this one. This is this one is the same with this big one. They are same. I have two from this color. And you know, the price is very cheap. This is $4, where you can find orchid that blooms, and this kind of huge orchid, where you can find for $4. This was $4. See, it's very cheap. And here I have different color. Very beautiful color, you see. How God creates beautiful things. See, and this one has fragrance also, and it has same color tongue. It smells like that one, like gardenia. And this one is also different. It started blooming, and the flowers, they grow every day. They grow, they become bigger and bigger. They become larger in size, and you see the leaves, how healthy leaves they have. Shiny, healthy leaves, juicy leaves. I love that nursery house. And this orchid, even though I have purple, I don't know. I bought this orchid. I have same color among my orchids, but this one has the little bit different tongue. Inside it has yellow little bit, and you see the edges are white. Maybe that's why I like this one. And I bought, and this is Vanda Orchid. It's finishing its blooming. And you see, I placed it in this big vase. I put some live moss in the vase. This is Spanish moss. I found this moss on the trees in Florida. They're hanging everywhere. You can find this moss. If you go to Florida, they hang on every tree. And I placed it here in this vase, and I put my Vanda here, because I don't like when I spray my Vanda roots, I make mess everywhere, and I have to wipe after when I spray these roots. And that's why I'm doing something. I'm thinking to place that big, huge Vandas in some vases also, but I couldn't find anything. They have huge roots and thick roots. I couldn't place them in any vase. I have to find something bigger for them according to their size. And here I have Epidendrum. These orchids my husband bought. He loved them so much, I didn't even pay attention to these orchids because I was busy with Phalaenopsis orchids and Vanda orchids, and my husband, he paid attention to these orchids and he bought these orchids for himself. See, they are beautiful, and what I like from them, do you see here, as if the bird is flying? This part look like bird, and this is beautiful orchid, Epidendrum they call it, and is very easy to care, and it has here babies. I think we can snip them and plant. I think it's very easy to propagate this orchid. Someday I will try, and this one started growing babies, and they are growing faster than other orchids I see. And this Phalaenopsis orchid, see how beautiful it is. It is yellow with purple dots. I love this one. I never had this orchid in my collection. And this one is Cattleya orchid. It was blooming when we bought, and it has very sweet fragrance. And this is also my husband's orchid. He loved this orchid and he bought this, but it doesn't look pretty. I think it's sick. It has fungus, and when we came home, I treated this orchid with fungicide, and now it's doing great. It started growing 2 babies. I will show you. It started growing 2 babies in my house. Here is one, this one, and here you see the other one. Here it's growing babies, and now I see that it grew a little bit in my house. I fed this orchid, and this orchid also loves water. I water it often, like my Oncidium orchid. And you see, I have to maybe repot this orchid and see what's going on inside, but now I am not gonna bother it because it's growing babies, and until it adjusts in my house, I will not bother this orchid. In front of me I have lots of hot days, and any day I can repot this orchid. And here I have this orchid, you see, beautiful orchid. I love these flowers. It has lots of flowers with huge size, and beautiful orchid. I love this one. I wanted to buy more from that nursery house because they have very cheap price. For this orchid I paid $6 because it's in big pot. You see, this is 6-inch pot. They sell orchids which are in 4-inch pots. They sell for $4. It doesn't matter what kind of orchid you are buying, Oncidium or Phalaenopsis or Dendrobium. Any orchids which are in 4-inch pots, they sell for $4. Which are in 6-inch pot, they sell for $6. And I paid $6 for these orchids which are in big 6-inch pots. And here I have different Dendrobium orchids. I have to be careful. And these Dendrobiums, you see, I think I bought 3 same colors because I didn't know what I was buying. These buds were very tiny, smaller than these buds, and when they don't bloom you don't know what you are buying, and that way I bought, I think, 3 same colors. I don't know what color this one blooms, but it seems same with these ones. but they are all pretty. See, they have beautiful color, and the tongue is the same color with the other part. See, but they are beautiful. And these ones, they don't have any fragrance. Here I have this huge Phalaenopsis orchid. You see, it's beautiful with healthy leaves, and see the flowers, how beautiful they are. And this was also $6, I think. But $6 for this orchid, it's nothing. If you want to buy from the store, you will pay maybe $50 for this kind of orchids. In Schnucks, in Whole Foods, you can find, but the plant I didn't like when I was buying from Whole Foods. I didn't like the plant. They have beautiful flowers, but they don't have healthy leaves. And I'm not gonna buy any orchid from Whole Foods from now on. Now I know where to buy orchids if I wanna buy. And here I wanna show you my Vanda orchids. They are doing great. I showed you these Vandas when we were in Florida. I hang them in the bathroom, and I told you that they were not happy, and when I placed them in the bathroom, they started feeling better, and now you see they are doing great. These were buds, and now they're in full bloom. When we came home, I placed them in my bedroom, which I keep most of my orchids there. Phalaenopsis orchids, they are doing great in the bedroom. It's south facing window, and you know, this one, somehow they didn't like that room. You can ask how I know that they didn't like that room. I know from the flowers. First sign, if the orchid is not happy, you can feel from the flowers and from the leaves and from the roots. But from the roots, I couldn't see anything. I couldn't notice anything when they were in my bedroom. And because you know, when we were in Florida, when I bought these orchids, they all had growing tips, green tips, and when I started watering them in the sink in the hotel, the tips, they died. They turned, you see, I will show you here, they turned brown like this. And that's why I told that these orchids are not happy, and I hang them in the bathroom. That time I already noticed that they were not doing good. Now I see they started growing tips again. Not all of the roots, but some of them. And when I placed them in my bedroom, they didn't like the color of the leaves. They turned a little bit yellow, and these flowers, they started fading. They were not active, and then I took them and I placed them in my daughter's room, which I keep my big Phalaenopsis orchids, and there they started feeling better. That room doesn't see any sunlight. I heard that when the orchids, they like sunlight, but somehow they didn't like my bedroom, which is more sunny, and instead they loved the room which doesn't see any sunlight. It's north facing room. Now I'm keeping these 3 Vandas in north facing room. And see, they're happy there somehow, and I have to find out what to do with these Vanda orchids. I bought baskets for them, but they are small, and I don't know exactly what I'm gonna do with them. Now I water them every day. I soak them in a bucket of water, and sometimes I spray. These roots, as you see, these all three, they're in full bloom. That one is dying, the flowers I mean, and I placed it in the vase. I will see how this Vanda will react to this. It's new in these ways, and if I see something, some change to good side, I will place that the rest of my Vandas in this kind of glass vase. Now I'm spraying this Vanda every day, and it's keeping its moisture. I like this way because I don't make mess anywhere. I don't need to wipe after I spray with water. And this one I wanna tell you today. If you wanna buy orchids, you can go to that nursery house. Its name is First Orchid. She gave me business card, the owner. This is First Orchid, and you can go there if you wanna buy orchids. You can find all different kind of orchids for $4. For this Oncidium, I think I paid $6, and I will tell you how many bulbs it has. It has lots of bulbs. If you want to buy online or you buy it from the store, you cannot buy for $6 this kind of Oncidium. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 bulbs it has. With 10 bulbs you cannot find this kind of orchid for $6. And this Dendrobium, see, it's for $4. It doesn't matter what size you are buying from there. You pay for the pot. This is in small pot, but it's huge plant. And see, I paid for this $4, and most of you who is watching my channel, you live already in Florida, and you can go to First Orchid and buy any orchid from there. For that Vandas I paid $17. They were little bit expensive than these ones, but it's not expensive for the Vanda. In my store, in my local store in Los, I think, I saw Vandas this color, the middle color, this is purple color, and that pink color, and I fall in love in them, but I didn't buy them because they were $35. They were small plants with few roots, and they were expensive, and for $35 I bought 2 Vandas from the First Orchid. I will leave this address in the description below. You can find this address, and if you want, you can go there and buy orchids, all kind of orchids for less price. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe my channel if you didn't subscribe yet. Please follow my videos. We will discuss more problems and more success about the plants, about different kind of plants. Now I didn't show you my other plants yet. I'm busy with African violets and with orchids, and that way I wasn't able to show you all my plants. Someday I will show you my plants which I grow in my house My house is becoming botanical garden now. Everywhere you step you can find flowers, and good, my husband understands. He is not against my hobby. This is my hobby. Growing is my passion. And you see how many flowers I have. Bye, happy gardening.